can fly. Think I can fly when I'm with you. My arms are wide, catching fire as the wind blows.
Welcome to today's tutorial on chess moves. I will take you through each piece in the game and cover the basics on how they move. We will begin with the pawn and then run through each of the back row pieces. To begin with, we can see how the two sides are set up. 8 pawns in the front with the pieces behind them. Rooks in the corner, knights just inside them, bishops just inside them with the king and the queen in the center. The queen starting the colours and the king takes the remaining square. The pawn starts the game with the potential to move forward 1 square or 2 on his first move, depending on what the situation calls for. He can only move forward, and unless capturing an enemy piece or pawn, he remains on his file. More often than not, the pawn's ability to advance 2 squares on his first move is taken advantage of. From here, he just advances 1 square on every move. 5, e6, e7, and e8. If the pawn survives to reach the home rank of the enemy, he gains promotion to a piece. He can be promoted to any piece except a king. This means he can become a knight, bishop, rook, or queen. Naturally, the usual practice is to promote to a queen since this piece is more powerful than the others. Promotion to other pieces is referred to as under-promotion. On the rare occasion when under-promotion does take place, it is usually to a knight, which has a move that a queen cannot replicate. In specific instances, it can change the outcome of a game, be considered more advantageous if the pawn were under-promoted to a knight rather than a queen. One particular vivid example of this is the Lasker trap in the Alvin counter gambit. The only time you would probably ever see promotion to a rook or bishop is when this move gives checkmate on the move. Some people think it's cuter to deliver the mate with a lesser piece than the queen. Sometimes the pawn has only advanced 1 square in his first move. His right to move 2 square does not roll over to the next move. It has been lost forever. He now needs 5 more moves to complete the trek to the enemy home rank instead of 4. This is not a big deal. It is regularly done when the pawn's control of certain squares is required for strategic purposes. And then it's just a case of e4, e5, e6, e7, e8. The pawn captures in a way that is different from his regular moves. This is one of the number of things that marks the pawn out from pieces in chess. They all capture by moving in their regular fashion. The pawn to move can capture either the bishop or the knight. When completing a capture, the pawn finds himself in an adjacent file and his journey will continue on this new file. Likewise, should he take the knight, his journey will continue on the file where this capture was made. And the aforementioned Lasker trap. I'll just show you the under promotion here. This is the Queen's Gambit declined. Black plays the Alvin counter gambit. Here Black is hoping for d takes e5 after d4, e3. Might well be played. It seems plausible, but this is actually the first step in the road to the Lasker trap. It's an error which Black will swiftly punish. Bishop b4 check is played next and is usually met by bishop d2 when comes d takes e3, daring White to take the apparently hanging bishop. If White takes the bait, Black can spring the Lasker trap. F takes e3 is what should have been played. White should just accept a horrible structure where Black is better, but at least White's still in the game. But then White didn't get here by being a good decision maker. So let's take a look at the move bishop takes b4 and see why it's a mistake. E takes f2 check is played next and forces the meek response, king e2. White has lost the right to castle and now Black will take back his piece. We'll just see what would happen if the king were to take the pawn. Obviously, White loses his queen and the game. So that's why king e2 is played. And here's the under promotion. One of the instances in chess where under promotion is the way to go. Just see what would happen if black just promoted to a queen like you would expect. This would be a mistake, allowing white to equalize. First the trade, and then the rook takes back the queen, and white is, well, at least equal, and he's well in the game. So that's why black under promotes to a knight, and it leaves white having to play king e1. It's the only move that doesn't lose the queen. I mean, he would love to play rook takes g1, but this fails against bishop g4, and the queen is gone. So that is why king e1 is played, and queen h4 check comes in, and then white has to play king d2 because knight g3 obviously loses the rook, and the game is over. So king d2 must be played. And after knight c6, black has threats all over the place. He's got to win position because black's a piece up. He will continue to develop and threaten, simultaneously chasing white's exposed king around the board. The game is already over. So that's the pawn. Let's have a look at the knight now. The knight's move is unique in chess, an L-shaped movement where he moves 2 squares in any direction and then 1 square perpendicular to the first movement. Best way to get the hang of this is by visual means. So he's got 3 squares there. Let's say he says knight f3. Like most other pieces, the knight's scope increases as he moves closer to the center. He has 3 possible moves from his original location, but now he has 8. And knight e5 shows us e5 is the white king's knight's favorite square. From here he controls the key squares in black's camp. It's enough to make a castle king nervous. A king trapped in the center is absolutely terrified. And there's one other thing that we might want to know about the knight. All pieces bar the knight have to operate within the space around them. They can't move past a friendly piece blocking their path. The knight, however, is unique, and in the true nature of a horse can leap over friend or foe alike. So watch this. Knight g4, and over he goes. So then the bishop is next. Bishop operates on the diagonals and enjoys maximum mobility. Bishop c4. Again, the more central a location the bishop takes, the more powerful he becomes. c4 is the white king's bishop favorite square. Just on the bishop pair. The bishop remains on one color complex for the entire game. Each side starts with a light square bishop operating on the light squares and a dark square bishop operating on the dark squares. After the first move, bishop c4 is played, and then later bishop b2. When the team up together, the bishop pair combine their complementary powers to powerful effect. An enemy king is sure to feel the heat of these terrible twins. Now the rook. The rook is more powerful than the knight or bishop. Previous two are often referred to as minor pieces. The rook along with the queen are referred to as major pieces. It is the ability to control and move along ranks and files that gives the rook his great power. Rooks are usually developed toward the center via castling in order to increase control of the center of the board. And we'll just move this guy into the middle, rook e5, and you can see that the unique thing about the rook is his range of mobility does not fluctuate whether he's in the corner, the home rank or rim, or in the center of the board. He always controls 14 squares, 7 on his rank and 7 on his file. Even if there are pieces blocking his path, he can still be said to be exercising influence beyond those pieces via X-ray. The queen has the diagonal powers of the bishop and the strict powers of the rook. Like them, she enjoys maximum range. It is possession of the combined powers of these two pieces that makes the queen the most powerful piece on the board. Notice that when she takes up a central location, her influence increases on the diagonals. From any of the 4 central squares, she controls half of the board. The king is the most important piece in the game. The whole game centers around the fate of the king. He enjoys the same moves as the queen. Like her, he can move in any direction on the ranks, files, or diagonals. There's one difference, however. While the queen has maximum mobility and can move as far as she likes in any direction, the king has minimum mobility and is restricted to moving 1 square at a time. While this means he's not as powerful as the queen or even the rook, the king is still quite a formidable piece. He is still at least as powerful as a minor piece, far more so at close quarters. He remains out of the ring clashes in the opening and middle game. In the endgame, however, when the heavy hitters have been exchanged, the kings stride forward to meet head-on in the deciding phase. Just moving the king 1 square can show us that the king's possibilities grow as he moves towards the center. He controlled 5 squares from the home rank, now he controls 8. And we should just talk about the castling move. There is a special castling move involving the king and rook. This is the castling move. Both sides are entitled to castle once in a game, but there are preconditions that must be satisfied. 1. The king must not have moved already. 2. The rook in question must not have moved already. 3. The king must not be in check. 4. The king must not move into check by castling. 5. The king cannot pass any square under enemy control. 6. There must be no pieces between rook and king. Assuming all of these preconditions are satisfied, you may proceed with the castling maneuver. White is castled short to the king's side, as will black in a moment. In order to castle, the king has moved 2 squares towards the edge, and the rook is placed 1 square closer to the center than the king as part of the same move. And it's the same for black. Now, you can also castle queenside. And it looks like this. You can do this if it is deemed better in a given position. Black can also mirror this position. Okay. So that's castle.
Think I can fly. Think I can fly when I'm with you. My arms are wide, catching